of your sad excuses. No more desperate pleas. Turning backs on sorrow can't bow to your disease. You wallow in your pity, but we're now standing tall. No more feeling sorry while you've built yourself a wall. Stop pointing fingers, it's a circle of deceit. You've painted your own picture, now feel your own defeat. Broken mirrors show no mercy, they've been cracked for years. We're done with your reflection and your crocodile tears. No more blame, no more shame, we won't feed your game. You played your cards, you took your chance, now live with your own name. Broken dreams and empty cries won't sway us anymore. Pack your bags and walk away, we're locking up the door. You say the world's against you, but look inside yourself. The answers you've been seeking aren't in somebody else. Wake up from your slumber, no more stories that you weave. We're cutting ties with shadows, we're the ones who now believe. Marching forward, power strong, we've seen through all your lies. We're walking on with heads held high and now we finally rise. No more drowning in your sorrow, we cannot dive that deep. We're swimming in our future, leaving all the muck you keep. No more blame, no more shame, we won't feed your game. You played your cards, you took your chance, now live with your own name. Broken dreams and empty cries won't sway us anymore. Pack your bags and walk away, we're locking up the door. No more blame, no more shame, we won't feed your game. You played your cards, you took your chance, now live with your own name. Broken dreams and empty cries won't sway us anymore. Pack your bags and walk away, we're locking up the door.
We just show up and grind all day, only results matter anyway. Eyes straight forward, no time to play. Block out the noise, let nothing sway. We don't care what others pursue. Our focus sharp, our goal so true. Their distractions ain't got a clue. We just win, that's what we do. Turn it up on the victory ride. We got heart and we got pride. Let the doubters run and hide. We're the force they can't deny. Keep your eyes on the finish line, no looking back, no wasting time. We climb the ranks, we shine and shine. Success is drawn like a fine line. Turn it up on the victory ride. We got heart and we got pride. Let the doubters run and hide. We're the force they can't deny. Keep your eyes on the finish line, no looking back, no wasting time. We climb the ranks, we shine and shine. Success is drawn like a fine line. Turn it up on the victory ride. We got heart and we got pride. Let the doubters run and hide. We're the force they can't deny. Step by step we reach the top. We'll keep going, we won't stop. Watch us rise, see jaws drop. When we win, we own the lot. We don't care what others pursue. Our focus sharp, our goal so true. Their distractions ain't got a clue. We just win, that's what we do. Turn it up on the victory ride. We got heart and we got pride. Let the doubters run and hide. We're the force they can't deny. Keep your eyes on the finish line. No looking back, no wasting time. We climb the ranks, we shine and shine. Success is drawn like a fine line. Keep your eyes on the finish line. No looking back, no wasting time. We climb the ranks, we shine and shine. Success is drawn like a fine line. Step by step we reach the top. We'll keep going, we won't stop. Watch us rise, see jaws drop. When we win, we own the lot. Step by step we reach the top. We'll keep going, we won't stop. Watch us rise, see jaws drop. When we win, we own the lot. Step by step we reach the top. We'll keep going, we won't stop. Watch us rise, see jaws drop. When we win, we own the lot. Step by step we reach the top. We'll keep going, we won't stop. Watch us rise, see jaws drop. When we win, we own the lot. Yeah.
It's Tech Coach Ralph TV.
Yeah, men lying, women lying, numbers manipulate. Don't matter what no one say, I throw the stats away. No need for calculators, we already greater. No need to validate us. It's Tech Coach Ralph TV. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop yawning. Get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Tech Coach Ralph and Mitch and Yakar, that's how it be. Shooting galaxies from their hands, it's Tech Coach Ralph TV. You don't need to grab your remote because you'll be floating free. Don't gotta worry about negative forces, it's positivity. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop yawning. Get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop the yawning. But I get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Men lie, women lie. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Men lie, women lie. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Tech Coach Ralph and Mitch and Yakar, that's how it be. Shooting galaxies from their hands, it's Tech Coach Ralph TV. You don't need to grab your remote because you'll be floating free. Don't gotta worry about negative forces, it's positivity. Tech Coach Ralph and Mitch and Yakar, that's how it be. Shooting galaxies from their hands, it's Tech Coach Ralph TV. You don't need to grab your remote because you'll be floating free. Don't gotta worry about negative forces, it's positivity. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop yawning. Get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Yeah, number manipulate. Yeah, numbers manipulate. Yeah, numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday morning to you. How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Hopefully you are doing well. I had an amazing week. Got a lot of great work done. Very excited to be here with you. This is the Men Lie, Women Lie, Numbers Manipulate show. where we review the weekly economic numbers, the weekly economic data, the weekly economic indicators, and we have a lot of fun doing it. We break it down so we can understand it a lot better so that we can see how this affects our day-to-day lives. This past Thursday, we were working on implementing and integrating AI into our Urban Dictionary of Economic Data so that we can personalize these examples so we can see how it relates to us. We are going to continue working on that this coming Thursday, but it is going to be absolutely amazing. So you definitely want to tune in and follow along. All right, and remember, this show is co-hosted by my two friends, Yakar and Mitch, in the chat. My best friend, I have to say, not my friend Mitch, because we are not friends. We are best friends. All right, and so we have a lot of stuff to cover today. I want to talk about the indicators. I want to talk about a little bit about healthcare and insurance and stuff like that, because that's been in the spear a lot. And then we might take a quick hit on this whole anesthesia thing. And lastly, address some comments that I had on some videos about the surprise. I did not expect that video to do that, but there was a lot of people who had comments about what I said about fees versus taxes. So we will wrap the show addressing that. We will get through everything. I'm gonna put a timer of 90 minutes, although we might go over 90 minutes, but I do want to address everything, but just to keep me in check. All right. I'm gonna put the 90-minute timer, but we'll probably go over because hopefully not, but we'll see what happens. All right. Let's start our timer. So let me say good morning to my friends before we get started. We got Yakar, aka Mr. Technique, in the building, one of the amazing co-hosts of the show. Yakar, from the beautiful state, physically, weatherly, he lives in California, but he is currently in Detroit, freezing himself off, right? 23 degrees over there in Detroit, left the beautiful state of California at a good 50 to 60 degrees to go. And that is a true soldier right there, going to support his interests up there in Detroit. So shout out to you, freezing up there. And a big good morning to Monica. Good morning, Monica. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Happy to see you here as always. All right. So, any announcements? Real quick, we're going to be going live tomorrow. We're going to continue working on DevOps for our show. We have tomorrow. We're probably going to be trying to deploy a little bit more of our economic dictionary, and then hopefully next week get back into Kubernetes. Other than that, that is about it. That's about it. Regular show schedules throughout the week. Christmas is around the corner, so I'm going to start by saying now, Merry Christmas to everybody. But yeah, that's about it. There's nothing that stands out right now. We are going to be starting our ethical hacking course in January, so you probably will see the link throughout the show in the chat if you want to join me along for that ride. I'm sharing the Udemy course that I'm taking, so if you want to sign up for that, we can go do it together. But with that being said, we're going to get into this economic stuff so that we can bring it back to tech, because everything is connected, right? I know that some people are like, I only talk about this, I only talk about that, but to me, a lot of it is connected, and I like to see, okay, how does the economy affect the tech market, our career industry? Because we're here, at the end of the day, we're trying to make money, trying to grow in our knowledge, all of that stuff. So how the economy rolls affects the jobs that we can get and what we should be studying, right? Because if the economy if there's a bunch of cyber threats happening, then we can see that in the economy, and maybe we should focus ourselves into cyber. Or if the economy is starting to boom and there's going to be like new technology, new innovation, we should focus maybe on software engineering, maybe on quality assurance. So we just try to bring everything back together, and it all starts off with how the economy is doing. If we don't know, then we don't really know how to move, and that's one of the reasons that I'm so excited that we started this Saturday morning show. And honestly, if it's truly because of Yakar and Mitch saying, hey, we should let's continue it. Because I was gonna do one show, I don't know, but I've learned so much in the past 6 months. So shout out to everyone who is getting value out of this show as well, because I get tremendous value from it, and hopefully you get value from it as well. All right. All right, let's get to it. So let me pull up our agenda for today. Let me go over here. We are going to, hold on. The background is way too bright. Hold on, let's do that. And let me reduce it. There we go. A lot better. All right, perfect. So let me zoom in on this and let's go to the LinkedIn to see what's going on this week. So we reviewed this on Monday morning. And it pretty much says, all right, inflation returns to center stage this week when the Labor Department releases a key price gauge, the last piece of economic data to arrive before the Federal Reserve sets interest rates next week on December 18th. The Consumer Price Index is forecasted to have risen 2.7% last month from a year earlier, up slightly from 2.6 in October. Excluding volatile items such as food and the index is seen up an annual 3.3% in November, unchanged from the prior month, while price growth is holding steady. A jobs report last week showing an uptick in unemployment has supported expectations for a rate cut. So we might be getting a rate cut. All right. So with that being said, let's see what we're going to be talking about today. So we have the Institute of Supply Management. So we have some carryover, actually. We have these two carryovers. These three carryovers from last week, and then we're gonna address these. So we're gonna talk about the Institute of Supply Management releasing the monthly purchasing manager index, which tracks if non-manufacturing sectors is expanding. We're gonna watch a quick YouTube clip of Jerome Powell and his from their meeting that they had, and then when he addressed whoever he addresses, right, the public. Then we have the Bureau of Labor Statistics releasing the November jobs report. We're going to pretty much see what the unemployment rate is and how many jobs are added to the economy. Then we have from this past week, we have the Bureau of Labor Statistics releasing the Consumer Price Index for November, which measures inflation through the price of goods and services. And then we also have the Producer Price Index for November. The gauge measures the change over time in prices charged by domestic producers for their output. And then lastly, we have our typical U.S. Department of Labor releasing the initial jobless claims for the previous week. My guess is going to be the same that it was. Very similar to what it was the week before, but we'll confirm. And then we're gonna get to this insurance talk, because I asked Yakar a question the other day, and he gave me a very, very interesting answer. Which, if it's okay with him, we will share that answer that he gave, and go from there. Okay. So with that being said, let's get to it. We're going to pull up our Urban Dictionary of Economic Data, and over here, and the first thing we're checking is the Purchasing Manager Index. I think that's for services, actually. Servicing, let me see. Service Manager Index, Purchasing Manager Index for non-manufacturing. So let's pull that bad boy up. All right, so what is this indicator? It is, so the Service Manager Index from the Institute for Supply Management. So what is it? Imagine you go to places like restaurants, hair salons, or even your favorite online store to buy things like clothes or games. Or I fell for it, right? I saw the toothbrush and flosser water pick commercial the other day, and I was like, you know what? I gotta have it, and it feels amazing on my teeth. And I'm brushing my teeth now maybe like 10 times a day because it feels so good. It's probably not healthy to brush that many, but it feels so good. All right. But it's when you go buy stuff, whether it's a service, online stores, things like that. So all these places provide services. They don't make things like factories do, but they help you do things and offer products you need. The Services Manager Index, also called non-manufacturing PMI, is a number that tells us how well all these service businesses are doing. It's kind of like a report card for the entire service industry. So if it's above 50, this means it means service businesses are doing well. They're busy hiring more workers, and lots of people are using their services. If it's below 50, however, this means services businesses are going down. fewer people are eating out, shopping online, or getting haircuts. We're not going to get into haircuts again because we've exhausted the whole haircut stock. So businesses might need as many workers and supplies. It's important because it tells us if the economy is growing or struggling, if it's healthy or struggling. Quick example: restaurant and hospitality. So think about. I think we had. I don't know. Did we do this last week? We might have did this last week, but whatever. So think about your favorite pizza place. If lots of people are ordering pizzas, high PMI. Okay, we didn't do this. So they'll need to hire more workers, buy more ingredients, and keep the restaurant open longer. But if fewer people are ordering pizzas, low PMI, they might not need as many workers, and they could even close early. The PMI tells us how busy businesses are, so we know if people are spending money or if things are slowing down. We'll probably end up updating this example and be able to use our AI to generate an example on the fly, because I could be like, hey, Monica, what industry are you in? It's like, oh, I'm in healthcare, and we get a healthcare, or I'm in human resources, we get a human resources example. So that is one of the cool features that's coming soon to this dictionary, right? But that's not here yet, so we're going to jump into this report. Alrighty, so we are looking for the services PMI. Let's do view report. Agree to that. All right, so the services PMI is at 52.1%. So that means the services industry is doing well. Business activity index is at 53.7, new orders index at 53.7, employment index at 51.5, and supplier deliveries index at 49.5. All right, so let's read on together. Economic activity in the services sector expanded for the 5th consecutive month in November. Says the nation's purchasing and supply executives in the latest services ISM report on business. The services PMI registered 52.1%, indicating expansion for the 51st time in 54 months since the recovery from the coronavirus pandemic-induced recession began in June 2020. All right, the report was issued. It's funny because it says the coronavirus pandemic-induced recession began in June of 2020. In June of 2020, that's when Florida opened back up, while almost everywhere else was locking down even more. So the report was issued today by Steve Miller, CPSMCSCP, chair of the Institute for Supply Management Services Business Survey Committee. In November, the services PMI registered 52.1%, 3.9% points lower than the October figure of 56%. Well, that's discouraging. However, we're still above 50%, so that's still a good thing, all right? But it did register a little bit lower in November. The reading in November marked the 9th time the composite index has been in expansion territory this year. The business activity index registered at 53.7% in November, 3.5 percentage points lower than the 57.2% recorded in October. It says November. Where are we? Okay, sorry. It says the new orders index also recorded a reading of 53.7% in November, 3.7 percentage points lower than the October figure of 57.4%. The employment index landed in expansion territory for the 4th time in 5 months. The reading of 51.5% is a 1.5% percentage point decrease compared to the 53% recorded in October, right? So the supplier deliveries index registered 49.5%, 6.9 percentage points lower than the 56.4% recorded in October. The index was in contraction territory for the 6th time in 2024, indicating faster supplier delivery performance after 2 months in expansion or slower territory. The supplier deliveries index is the only ISM report on business index that is inverse. A reading above 50% indicates slower deliveries, which is typical as the economy improves and customer demand increases. The price index registered 58.2% in November, a 0.1 percentage points increase from October's 58.1%. The inventories index returned in contraction territory in November after 3 months in expansion, registering 45.9%, a decrease of 11.3 percentage points from October's 57.2%. That is a big drop. It's a big drop, all right? The inventory sentiment index expanded for the 19th consecutive month, registering 54.6%, up 1.6 percentage points from October's reading of 53%. The backlog of orders index remained in contraction territory for the fourth consecutive month, registering 47.1% in November, a 0.6 percentage point decrease from October reading of 47.7%. 14 industries reported growth in November. Nice. Matching the previous month's total, the services PMI has expanded in 21 of the last 23 months, dating back to January of 2023, and the November reading of 0.2 percentage points below its average of 52.3% for November 2024. Miller continues. The decrease in services PMI in November was driven by decreases in each of the four directly impacting sub-indexes: business activity, new orders, employment, and supplier deliveries. However, 14 industries reported business activity growth and 13 indicated new order expansion. Both figures are improvements compared to October, so that's awesome. Let's give a little read. This reinforces the view over the last several months that the services sector has returned to sustained growth. Generally, respondents' comments were neutral to positive, and both positive and negative impacts were attributed to seasonality. Not surprisingly, election ramifications and tariffs were mentioned often, with cautionary outlooks related to the potential impacts on respondents' specific industries. So the 14 industries that reported growth in November were accommodations and food services, arts, entertainment and recreation, healthcare and social assistance, wholesale trade, agriculture, forestry, fishing and hunting, public administration, finance and insurance, management of companies and support services, retail trade, transportation and warehousing, information, professional and scientific technical services, construction and utilities. 3 industries reporting a contraction in the month of November are mining, real estate, I could believe that, rental and leasing, and educational services. All right, so let's see what the respondents are saying real quick. We're not going to go through each of them, but we'll take a quick look. Federal Reserve interest rate cuts have not had the desired effect on mortgage rates yet. With election results mostly determined, imagine that, this late in the game and it's still mostly determined, expansion of residential construction is anticipated, but the unknown effect of tariffs cloud the future. That's from the construction industry. All operations are normal at the moment, nothing local or national that is having any major effect on our operations. That's from educational services. Higher level of activity is driving the need for additional resources, finance and insurance. Insurance is a tough conversation right now, apparently. So we have concern after the presidential election that tariffs will affect prices for electronic and components in 2025. That's from the information sector. Domestic lead times still seem very long. We are having to go to China for many electrical equipment requirements. Even after tariffs, the price is half, and so are the lead times. Wow, that's interesting to hear. So even with the tariffs, it might still be a better price to buy from China, okay? And from other foreign countries. It says election results and the potential tariff change would impact inventory and lead to higher prices in the hospital supply chain. What we saw during C19 with startup U.S. production is a warning sign again. Professional, scientific, and technical services. Let's see. Construction material are shorted or hard to get due to increased construction projects in the area and in the United States. Sometimes projects are delayed due to this. That's from public administration. We finished a solid quarter and are planning on a similar holiday period, not breaking any records, but positive. That's from retail trade. Still waiting to see how presidential cabinet picks shake out, if they are confirmed, and how they will affect our operations going forward. Holding capital projects now until the cabinet is complete and we know how federal funds will be dispersed going forward, transportation and warehousing. And lastly, even though we are reducing our spending and our employment levels, we have a positive outlook for 2025 performance with expected reinvestment of funds. That's from utilities, right? So that is basically everything that is happening for services, for the service industry, right? Let's go back to full screen. And hopefully that was very, very informative and all of that good stuff. Let me check the chat to see who we have in the building. We have, I'm gonna start out your car's comment on insurance, and I'll read that once we get to that part of the show. But it looks like it's a great comment. We have Adrian in the building. What's up, AJ? How are you doing today? And we got my bestest friend in the whole wide world, Mitch. What's good, Mitch? How are you doing today? Shake and bake. And we got Melvin Johnson. Good morning, Bag Chasers. Good morning to you as well, Melvin. How are you doing?
Let's get it.
Hopefully everyone had an amazing week and everyone's having an amazing, amazing Saturday morning. But we are in it to win it. All right. If you have any thoughts on the services industry, are you seeing anything out there? Are you in the services industry? Are your services going well? Not so well? What is it? Let me know. And the thing is with the services industry, it forces, like, as you get more competition, right? It forces other places to step up their game. So, quick example, Amazon started with Prime and 2-day shipping and all that type of stuff, right? And they were kind of running the market at the time, where you can get something in 2 days. Now you can get it within, like, if I order something right now on Amazon, I can probably get it in the next between 5 and 10 p.m., maybe 2 and 6, because it's 10 a.m. right now, right? So then what it forced companies like Walmart to start offering similar services. So now on Walmart, you can get stuff the same day delivered to you, and probably other companies are going to start to do the same thing. So I love to see the innovation, and I love to see the competition that it drives in these companies, and how we are able to get better services, right? So that's all I'm saying. So shout out to that. All right. Let me see. So Melvin says, did you look into DXYZ Destiny Tech 100? You know what? I did not, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it on air. I just started the message. After we get through all of our indicators, I'm gonna pull it up to see exactly what it is and learn a little bit more about it. All right. We gotta stop the show real quick. We gotta stop the show. All right. So, AJ says, just hopped on to celebrate my wife's completion of first QA interview process and 6-figure job offer. What? No way, no how. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
You know what time it is. I know it's early in the morning, but hey, it is 5 o'clock somewhere, and it's Saturday. So we have to celebrate. AJ's wife, right? We're gonna celebrate AJ's wife. Let me get the lights running. Where are we? All right. Let me get out. Let's get one of these, and we're about to celebrate. This is not fast enough, right? Let's go to. It's not fast enough. Oh well, whatever. It is what it is. But we have to celebrate Adrian and his wife getting that first QA interview, landing a 6-figure job. Let's get it.
We the best. Let's get it. They ain't believing us.
Press the wrong button. But shout out to you, Adrian, and your wife. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Happy to hear that. Shout out to you and your wife. All right, let me get back to my light. All right, cool. So that's awesome. I am so happy to hear that. I love to see success. And some people say that I don't live in reality and that everyone isn't me, but I'm happy to see that Adrian and his wife live in my reality, because they're going out there and get it. They are going out there and they're killing the game, being successful. So shout out to you. Mitch says, I don't even know how Amazon was able to do that. They mastered the supply chain. They mastered logistics, and they're making it even faster and faster and faster. I think they're stocking stuff in warehouses across the most like popular items across the country. We got the wealth building journey in the building. Shout out to the wealth building journey, and for him getting me in trouble this week.
Bruh.
Mitch says to AJ, let him borrow some money. Gonna catch. There, you didn't miss much in the beginning, CJ. You didn't miss too much. Let's see. Yes, congrats. I love that. And it says, I say that Ralph doesn't live in reality. He's a villain. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Let's jump over to our next topic of today. So we're over here, and we have finished the Institute of Supply Management. Let's take a quick look at Mr. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, who might be out of a job sooner or later. Might be a little battle going on over there, but we shall see. But let's take a quick look at what Mr. Powell had to say, okay? Let me not do it like this. Let me do it another way. Let's go to that right there. And we're going to go to, where is my videos? We're going to go to this one. And we're going to change this. This is the video that got me in trouble. This is the video that got me in trouble. All right. Let's do this. So let's see what Powell had to say regarding, interest rates, tariffs, and stuff like that. All right. Let's give it a play.
We're all learning a lot today. Welcome to Power Lunch. Alongside Dom Chu, I'm Kelly Evans, and that was quite a tour de force.
I think so, and I'm trying right now to think if I can even spell things backwards, let alone repeat words back. Yes. Kelly has that talent, by the way.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell just wrapping up his comments at the New York Times Deal Book Summit. Now, as the Fed Chair was speaking, the Fed itself also released the latest beige book, so a lot of headlines to kind of run you through. Let's get up to Steve Leisman, bring us those details and some initial reaction to Powell's comments. Hi, Steve.
Yeah, hi. I'm just going to cut to the chase of what I think interests our viewers here, and that is his commentary on policy, and that he says we were the last major central bank to cut, and we're now on a path to bring rates back towards neutral, but because the economy is doing well, I'll just read this. The economy is strong, and it's stronger than we thought it was going to be in September. The labor market is better, and the downside risks appear to be less, and inflation is coming a little higher. The good news is we can afford to be a little more cautious as we try to find neutral. So I don't know what that little more cautious means. I was watching the Fed probabilities, and I'll just double check it one more time, where we're at a 75% probability of a cut in December. That remains the case. It looked like the March and the May data or May probabilities are pretty much the same. So not a big change. We talked about this, Kelly, in the last hour, which is that there's still a bunch of data to come. The Fed is in doesn't feel any particular urgency to cut. We'll see if the data itself that we get on Friday and again another employment report change the market's outlook, and the Fed says, all right, if that's where the market's priced, that's what we'll give the market here, or if it feels some sort of need to disappoint the market here. I did not hear the word recalibration, which I was listening for. I don't know. He wasn't asked about it, so I don't know if we're still in a recalibration mode, which would make me think, you know what, the Fed is a little less concerned about the data itself. So we'll just have to wait and see and hear more Fed commentary, as well as watch the data and try to plug that into this idea that they can afford to be a little more cautious now. What
did you say, Steve, were the odds of a December cut now?
75, exactly where they were. And then if you would call up, by the way, the December 2025 contract, which I can call up on my thing. I saw it. It was.
That's what I was getting out of it too, Yakar, when because when you say like, oh, we can be a little bit more cautious, I'm like, usually like when cautious, like you don't you don't do something. So I was like, it sounds like there's not a rate cut coming, but they said it's still at a 75% chance. So I don't know. We'll see about that. We shall see about that. But let's keep watching.
Up a little bit. I didn't see a whole lot of movement there. If you look at the FFZ5 or G25, which is the December contract, and what you see is that it was actually came down a little bit more, either from Barkin or from the data that came out today, probably the ISM disappointing, some other weaker sort of data, as well as perhaps the ADP number set the market thinking that maybe the Friday jobs report will not be as robust as is dialed in. I think they're at 214,000. ADP came in at 146,000. So what does that tell you? It tells you that we don't know, but because ADP did not appear to pick up the hurricanes and the strike, there is that, that's the 30-day, the December 25. There you go. 96, guys. We have another way of looking at that, which is the actual rate. Minus that from 100, and you'll get the actual rate. It didn't really move very much is the main point, and that the market is in a kind of wait-and-see mode here where the data is going to tell us where the Fed's going to go in December.
Hey, Steve, it's Dom. The other thing we want to bring up besides deal book is beige book. And the takeaway, I guess, here is that they say that the economic activity, quote unquote, rose slightly in most areas in the economy in the U.S. Is there anything else we need to focus on with regard to that beige book report?
Well, I was interested in this comment here. Employment levels were flat or up only slightly across districts. I think that was an interesting commentary. You had a kind of, you still had a positive above 50 employment number in the ISM services, but it was down a bit in terms of its level. Also said prices rose only at a modest pace across Federal Reserve districts. And there was one other comment, Don, that I thought was interesting. If I could just call it up to make sure I get it right, where they said, and put my glasses back on, contacts indicate they expect the current pace of price growth to persist, but businesses in several districts indicated tariffs pose a significant upside risk to inflation. And guys, if I could just take a step back, I've been here at the CFO Council the last night and today, and I had a chance to talk to the guys who run the books for some pretty big companies. And I will tell you, there is, I want to say, almost equal mixtures of optimism and uncertainty out there. And we were talking last night, and guys were like, hey, if the Trump administration, and women, by the way, there were a bunch of women who did the same job, is saying, hey, if we get, for example, 100% expensing on our investments, that's a huge plus. If we're allowed to do more in terms of rolling back the interest deductions on interest payments that we had in the prior Trump administration, that's great. But over here, we have the tariffs. We don't quite know what's going to happen with them. So there's just a lot of uncertainty. I guess cautious optimism sounded like it, because some people say, you know what, hey, those tariffs are coming through, but they won't be, they're a negotiation tactic, or they won't affect me. So a lot of uncertainty out there, but also a good chunk of optimism.
All right. Sounds like a wall of worry scenario, Steve, proverbially. Thank you very much, Steve. We'll see you later on.
So Mitch also said that Mitch also agrees with your car. No cut. When Trump comes in, there will be a cut. And your car says it's called firing Jerome Powell. So yeah, we'll see. Like the way that the person speaking was portraying it, it sounds like what Jerome Powell said would lean towards no cut. But they're still saying there's a 75, or maybe if there is a cut, it's a small cut, versus, I don't know. But there might be a cut, but it might be 25 points, or you guys might be totally right. It might be no point. I don't know, but it doesn't sound too promising. And your car says the Feds never make their decision off pure data. If that's the case, inflation wouldn't have gone so far up. All right. Adrian said, could you still help me through the Tech Barbarians program if I go into tech sales instead of QA? Send me a message in the Patreon, because I am not entirely, I need to get more context. I need to get more context on that. Because it depends on what you're trying to do in tech sales, and it depends on your overall goals. So let's talk about it, but send me a message in the Patreon, and then we can even get on a video call and chat about it to see what you're trying to accomplish, because there might be like other people that can better help you if it's like purely tech sales, you know, like Joseph over at Tech Niche Tips and Trey at Tech Back Trey. They might be better suited for tech sales type stuff, but let me know and then we'll figure it out, right? But definitely send me a message and we will work that out. Let's see. The Wealth Building Journey says, looking at the chat, but still about 15 minutes behind. I agree. It's insane for the feds to reduce rates, but the Fed is going to do it anyway. You know, we'll see. Let's see. He says, don't lie to the people. What are you referring to? What are you referring to, Mitch? What are you referring to, Mitch? Let's see. All right. Let's continue. Let's continue with the next topic of today. We're going to jump over to here. And the next up, we have the Bureau of Labor Statistics will release the November jobs report. The monthly release tracks unemployment rate and how many jobs were added to the economy. So let's check that one out. Make sure this is working too. All right, so we are going to go over to here. And we're going to go, not this one, we're going to go here and we're going to say jobs. We're going to search for jobs and monthly job reports. So this is the wrong link. We still haven't fixed this link. Jeez, we should have done that a long time ago. All right, I'll get the right link. Let's go to Bloomberg to get the right link and we'll fix it on the spot. We're going to fix it on the spot. Let's go over to here, get the link from Bloomberg. And that was, let me see, week ending here. Let's go here, apply, filter. Let's clear that out. Choose the US and employment, apply. And we have this one right here. So we are going to click on that and I'm going to take that URL and I am going to, let's open up our API real quick. And we are going to go to patch and we're going to say, save that, or let's just discard it. Let's go to patch, continue, URL to report. Do it on the fly because we're not gonna come another month and we don't have this updated, so we're gonna do it on the fly. And I'm gonna take this right here, and this you see how we were able to implement tech stuff right in the middle of this economic show. We're getting it all in. We are getting it all in. Let's go to here and we're going to post that. Should be good. And if we go back over here and refresh the page, why did you update? Why did you not update? Okay, I think refresh doesn't really work. All right, so let's go to jobs again. We go here. There we go. We have our correct link now. Okay, so with that being said, let's jump into it. So what is the monthly jobs report? The monthly jobs report is a big snapshot. That's how it shows how many people in the big snapshot that shows how many people in the country have jobs, how many are looking for jobs, and how much money people are making. It's created by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, and comes out every month. The report tells us three main things. How many jobs are added or lost. This is like counting how many new jobs opportunities are created, like if new stores opened and needed workers, or how many jobs disappeared if some businesses closed down. The unemployment rate. It tells us how many people are looking for jobs but can't find one. It's like a percentage that shows how many adults are not working but are still trying to get a job and how much people are being paid. The report also shows whether the amount of money people are earning is going up or staying the same. This is called average hourly earnings. Why is this important? This report is important because it gives us a sense of how the economy is doing, and it helps everyone from the government to business owners to everyday people make decisions. So here's why: if a lot of jobs are being added, it means companies are hiring more workers because they are growing. Usually, a sign that the economy is doing well, and people are more likely to spend money. If fewer jobs are being added or jobs are being lost, the economy could be slowing down, meaning businesses might be cutting costs and not hiring new employees. The unemployment rate helps the government know how many people are struggling to find work, so they can think about ways to help, like create more job programs. Yeah, okay, we'll see how that goes. Wages. If people's wages are going up, it means businesses might be competing to hire workers. That's awesome. So they have to offer better pay. If wages aren't increasing, people might feel like they have less money to spend. So the monthly jobs report helps everyone see the economy, if the economy is healthy or if there are problems. Just like a report card, you see how well you are doing in school. So let's take a quick look. I can't not wait till we have this AI implemented in here, so that we can just on the fly get a new example. Let me move this for now as we read this part. So the logistics and supply chain example. Imagine you run a delivery company that ships products for an online store. The monthly jobs report is like a shipping dashboard that tells you how the logistics industry is doing. If the report shows a lot of new jobs in warehousing and trucking, you might expect higher demand for deliveries, so you could hire more drivers and prepare for a busy season. But if the report shows a loss of jobs, it might mean fewer packages that need to be delivered, and you might decide to delay hiring or even reduce staff. The unemployment rate can also give you insight. If it's high, it might be easier for you to find new drivers, but it might also signal tough economic times where businesses and customers are spending less money. All right. So that is what that indicator is. Let's go over and look at the report to see what exactly is going on with the job market. Okay. So let's click on this. And we have, so this was from December 6th, 8:30 a.m. The non-farm payroll employment rose by 227,000 in November. The unemployment rate changed little at 4.2%. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today employment trended up in healthcare, leisure and hospitality, government and social assistance, retail trade lost jobs. This news release presents statistics from 2 monthly surveys. The household survey measures labor force status, including unemployment, by demographic characteristics. The establishment survey measures non-farm employment hours and earnings by industry. For more information about the concept and statistical methodology used in these 2 surveys, see technical note. All right. So household survey data, both the unemployment rate at 4.2% and the number of unemployed people at 7.1 million changed little in November. These measures are higher than a year earlier when the jobless rate was at 3.7%. The number of unemployment was at 6.3 million people. Bruh. And we jumped up a whole almost a whole million. We're at 7.1% of unemployed people versus 6.3 last year. How is unemployment? Well, I mean, no, it is a big jump from 3.7 to 4.2%. Among major worker groups, the unemployment rate for blacks is 6.4%, edged up in November. The jobless rate for adult men is at 3.9%, adult women at 3.9%, teenagers at 13.2%. Teenagers used to have very particular jobs. And it says whites 3.8%, Asians at 3.8%, Hispanics at 5.3% showed little to no change over the month. The number of long-term unemployed, those jobless for 27 weeks or more, was little changed at 1.7 million in November. This measure is up from 1.2 million a year earlier. In November, the long-term unemployment accounted for 23.2% of all unemployed people. The labor force participation rate is at 62.5%, changed little in November and has remained in a narrow range of 62.5% to 62.7%. So does the labor force participation rate mean like out of 100% of working age people in the United States, 60 like so almost 40% of them are not working? So people who are capable of working, that means 40% of them are not working, but the unemployment rate is at 4.2%. Is that what this is saying? Am I like wealth building journey? Your car, Mitch, Bueller, anybody? Like is that what like am I understanding that correctly? So if out of 100 people, right, 62 and a half of them are working. Not sure we're gonna get that half a person from to make that half a person work, but 62 and half of a person are working. Okay, okay. Says the unemployment population ratio at 59.8% also changed little over the month, but is down 0.6 percentage points over the year. The number of people employed part-time for economic reasons changed little at 4.5 million in November. This measure is up from 4 million a year earlier. These individuals would have preferred full-time employment but were working part-time jobs because their hours had been reduced or they were unable to find full-time jobs. The number of people not in the labor force who currently want a job at 5.5 million changed little in November. These individuals were not counted as unemployed because they were not actively looking for work during the 4 weeks preceding the survey or were unavailable to take a job. So all right, so I guess the number of people not in the labor force, I guess that would be the part of that for almost 40%. Let's see. All right, so among those not in the labor force who wanted a job, the number of people marginally attached to the labor force at 1.6 million was unchanged in November. These individuals wanted and were available for work and had looked for a job sometime in the prior 12 months, but had not looked for work in the 4 weeks preceding the survey. The number of discouraged workers, a subset of the marginally attached who believe there is no jobs were available for them, changed little at 396,000 in November. About this group of people who are these discouraged workers, a subset of the marginally attached who believe that no jobs are available for them. I do think that we need to continue improving our skills and learning how to do other things. Like we just can't be stuck. We can't be stuck on this is what I do and nothing else. I cannot grow. I cannot expand my skill set. I just do this and that's it. So I don't like that idea that there are no jobs available for you. You might have to pivot out of what you are accustomed to doing to see what other opportunities lie out there, and this is the part where Mitch is going to say that, I don't live in reality and that, everyone's not me, all that good stuff, right? But you can either pout and be discouraged and stay in your particular circumstance, or you can make a change about it. All right. So that's my thoughts. All right. It says the non-farm payroll employment rose by 227,000 in November, following little change in the prior month of 36,000. Payroll employment has increased by an average of 186,000 per month over the 12 months prior to November. Over the month, employment trended up in healthcare, leisure and hospitality, government and social assistance, always in government. Employment increased in transportation equipment, manufacturing, reflecting the return of workers who were on strike. Healthcare added 54,000 jobs in November, in line with the average monthly gain of 59,000 over the prior 12 months. In November, ambulatory, how you like that, the wealth building journey, how you like that, ambulatory healthcare services added 22,000 jobs, led by a gain of 16,000 in home healthcare services. Employment also increased in hospitals, 19,000 in nursing and residential care facilities at 12,000. Shout out to my favorite nurse Roxy. Probably working or sleeping right now from getting off of work. All right, so employment in leisure and hospitality trended up in November, 53,000, following little change in the prior month, plus 2,000. Over the month, employment trended up in food services and drinking places, 29,000. I guess I could see that. Leisure and hospitality had added an average of 21,000 jobs per month over the prior 12 months. All right, so in November, government employment continued to trend upwards, 33,000, in line with the average monthly gain over the prior 12 month of plus 41,000. What are all these government jobs doing? I'm just curious to know. What are all these? And do these government jobs also include local government jobs as well, and county government jobs, state government jobs, and not just federal government? I would assume so. I would hope so, at least. I would hope so. Employment increased by 32,000 in transportation equipment manufacturing in November, reflecting the return of workers who were on strike. Social assistance, employment and social assistance edged upwards by 19,000 in November, similar to the average monthly gain of 18,000 over the prior 12 months. Over the month, individuals and family services added 17,000 jobs. Retail trade lost 28,000 jobs. That's interesting that retail trade jobs, would retail trade jobs be like stores? Because I would think that they would be ramping up for Black Friday and the holiday season. After showing a little net employment change over the prior 12 months, in November, employment declined in general merchandise retailers, negative 15,000, while electronics and appliance retailers added 4,000 jobs. Employment showed little or no change over the month in other major industries, including mining, quarrying, and oil and gas extraction, construction, wholesale trade, transportation and warehousing, information, financial activities, professional and business services, and other services. Lastly, in November, average hourly earnings for all employees on private non-farm payrolls rose by 13 cents. By 13 cents. Or 0.4% to $35.61. Over the past 12 months, average hourly earnings have increased by 4%. In November, average hourly earnings of private sector production and non-supervisory employees rose 9 cents, or 0.3% to $30.57. The average work week for all employees on private non-farm payrolls edged up by 0.1 hours to 34.3 hours in November. In manufacturing, the average work week was little change at 40 hours, and overtime edged up by 0.1 hours to 2.9 hours. The average work week for production and non-supervisory employees on private non-farm payrolls remained at 33.7 hours. The change in total non-farm payroll employment for September was revised up by 32,000 from 223,000 to 255,000, and the change for October was revised up by 24,000. Aw, that's awesome. That's awesome. From 12,000 jobs added. I'm telling you. That was a very, very shocking number, I must say. But it could have been 12,000, but it is now 20. It was revised up by 24,000. That we got 36,000 jobs added in the month of October. With these revisions, the employment in September and October combined is 56,000 higher than previously reported. Monthly revisions from results from additional reports received from the business and government agencies since the last published estimates, and from the recalculation of seasonal factors. All right, so that's our report. The next one is going to be released January 10th, so we will be here, locked and loaded, ready to review that. But let's go back to full screen. All right. Let me see. What do we have left? Right, we got that done. We have about two. We have two to go. The initial jobless claims, kind of tired of that one. All right, so let's see. All right, so I am going to, let me read the other comments, and I'm going to tell you about the Udemy bootcamp. It's not my Udemy bootcamp, but it's a bootcamp on Udemy that I'm going to be taking the course, right? I don't like when Udemy calls their courses bootcamps, because it's not, but I'll talk about that. And the Wealth Building Journey says, nice. The Tech-onomics Show. I like the ring of that. We might have to integrate that somehow into the name of the show. Weekly Techonomics Review. Huh. What do you guys think about that? Your car, Mitch, this show is equally yours. Let me know what you guys think about the Techonomics, the weekly Techonomics review. And Mitch says, half of a person is you.
Bruh.
How dare you?
Funny enough, I like one of the other channels that I have that I don't use much yet that I have for jiu-jitsu. I just renamed the channel to because in Portuguese the R sounds like a H, right? So and I love playing half guard, so I just renamed the channel to Half Guard Halfy. So there you go. Half of a person is moi. Melvin says DXYZ is a CEF. I thought it was an ETF, but nope. Cool. We're gonna check it out. The Wealth Building Journey says it's probably out of 1,000 people. That makes a lot more sense. Because finding that half of a person. That, if you guys remember the movie Knocked Up, where he had a quota to let people into the club, and he had to find half of a person. All right. So I'm just saying. And Mitch says, "Here I come." Right on time. Because I can. So Mitch doesn't have to say it. I just say it for him. And the Wealth Building says, "All right, up to speed. Welcome." And Wealth Building saying, "Shout out to me saying, ambulatory. So here we go. So the Wealth Building Journey says the bellwether industries to watch are the manufacturing and construction sectors to see how close we are to an economic downturn. Well, let the Wealth Building Journey be the bearer of bad news on this beautiful Saturday morning. And Mitch says self-checkout, that's why. Those type of jobs don't really hire holiday workers anymore, in my opinion. Oh, that is a good point. I didn't think about that. Self-checkout. But they do lose money on self-checkout. What do you think costs more? The money that they lose on self-checkout, from people stealing, like and lying on during self-checkout, or having to hire a bunch of cashiers who are really, really slow, and you get so aggravated and frustrated because they take so long. And it's like a long backup line. Which costs more? The merchandise stolen through self-checkout, or hiring the employees that really annoy you because they take so long? Let's see. Mitch says it is trash. Throw it away.
Bruh.
Let's see. And Adrian says Adrian likes the name Techonomics Show. And let's see. Says do I speak? I do not speak Portuguese. I know bora, like let's go, and I know when they say somebody is, that's who you're training with. But other than that, no. And Mitch says, Knocked Up, surprised you watched that. What? I love that movie. Why would you be surprised that I watched that? What? That was a great movie. And lastly, Mitch says, I think money they lose more on self-checkout, but don't really know. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. All right, let's go over to the next topic of discussion for today. All right, next up we have on the docket, the Bureau of Labor Statistics releasing the monthly consumer price index for November, which measures inflation through the price of goods. All right. So let's check it out. We're going to go over to here. We're looking for the consumer price index, right? So let's search for consumer. Let me start closing some stuff out as well. Close that out. All right, cool. So consumer price index. What is the consumer price index, right? The CPI. So the consumer price index is a price report card for everyday things that you buy. like groceries, gas, clothes, and even rent. The rent is too damn high. Imagine you make a shopping list of all the stuff you need. The CPI keeps track of how much that list costs over time. Kind of like the app that my friend built, where it's tracking like the Home Mellow app. I should ask him how to pronounce it, but the Home Mellow app is how I'm going to say it for now. Where you can track like your home maintenance and stuff like that, right? And you can put the cost that's associated with it, and you can see the price over time. But I digress. Here's how it works. Shopping basket. Think of it as a big basket filled with all the stuff you usually buy. The government checks the price of these items regularly, and then they compare today's prices with the price from the past to see if things are getting more expensive or cheaper. So if the CPI goes up, it means prices are rising and your money doesn't stretch as far. If it goes down, things are getting cheaper. Why does it matter? Well, it affects how much money you need to live and how much you can save. It also influences things like wages, pensions, and even the economy overall. Basically, CPI is a way to measure the cost of living and how it changes over time. So last time we did the homemaker, let's do the car mechanic example. So how does the CPI affect a car mechanic? So let's say a car mechanic owns a small auto repair shop. Changes in the CPI can affect both his business and his personal expenses, right? So cost of auto parts and supplies so if the CPI shows the auto parts price have increased, the mechanic notices that brakes, tires, and oil filters now cost more to buy more from suppliers. He might have to increase prices for repairs to cover the higher part cost, which could impact customer demand. Alternatively, he could shop around for more affordable suppliers. Shop tools and equipment. If the CPI indicates rising prices for tools and equipment, such as diagnostic tools or lifts, the mechanic may need to delay purchasing new equipment or seek financing options to keep the business running smoothly. Fuel costs. If the CPI shows a rise in gasoline prices, this affects the cost of driving to pick up parts or make service calls. He may also need to charge more for mobile services, labor, and employee wages. If the CPI shows that inflation is making everyday living more expensive, the mechanic might feel pressure to increase employee wages to help his workers manage rising living costs, such as rent or groceries. And it says customer behavior. If the CPI shows that the cost of living is rising for customers, people might delay non-urgent repairs like replacing tires or getting routine maintenance. So they might be riding high on those bald tires. It says because they need to cut back on spending, this could affect the shop's cash flow. So why does the CPI? Let me move myself up so you guys can see this. It says, so why does the CPI matter to a mechanic? Pricing adjustments. He has to adjust repair costs to keep up with inflation while staying competitive. Budgeting for tools. Rising CPI means he needs to plan purchases carefully and manage cash flow for new tools and shop upgrades. Managing employee wages. If inflation rises, he may raise wages to retain good workers and keep them motivated. And customer impact. Higher living costs might lead to fewer customers coming in for services, so he may offer discounts or promotions to attract business, all right? So in summary, it helps the mechanic understand how inflation affects his costs and customer behavior. By staying aware, he can plan ahead, manage expenses, and keep his business profitable even during tough economic times, all right? So with that being said, we're going to continue, and you see how the economy impacts every single sector. We can make a case for all these indicators on how they are going to impact you, regardless of where you work, right? So whether you're a mechanic, whether you are a truck driver, whether you are a financing fund processor, whether you are a nurse, it all comes down to the economy. And that's why we review this as part of this channel every Saturday morning with my co-host, Mitch and Yakar. So let's jump into this report about the CPI, right? So where are we at now? So we have that. Let's see where this report is. All right, so The next report is for December is January 15th, but the current report for November is here. Let me make myself a little smaller so you can see this better. All right, so let's go here. All right, cool. So, so this was on Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. Consumer Price Index, November 2024. The Consumer Price Index for all urban CPI increased 0.3% on a seasonally adjusted basis in November after rising 0.2% in each of the previous 4 months. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today, over the last 12 months, all items index increased 2.7% before seasonal adjustment. The interest for shelter rose 0.3% in November, accounting for nearly 40% of all monthly all items increased. The food index also increased over the month, rising 0.4% as the food at home index increased 0.5%. So food at home is getting more expensive. Food away from home rose to 0.3%. The energy index rose 0.2% over the month after being unchanged in October. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.3% in November, as it did in each of the previous 3 months. Indexes that increased in November include shelter, used cars and trucks, household furnishing and operations, medical care, new vehicles, and recreation. The index for communication was among the few major indexes that decreased over the month. So communication getting cheaper, all the other stuff getting more expensive. The all item index rose 2.7% for the 12 months ending in November after rising 2.6% over the 12 months ending in October. Still getting more expensive. All the items less food and energy rose 3.3% percentage points over the last 12 months. The energy index decreased 3.2% for the 12 months ending in November. The food index increased 2.4% over the last year. So as we can see, pretty much everything is still getting more expensive, right? Energy, I do see that energy is getting a little bit cheaper, like the utilities bills, gas, all that stuff is getting cheaper, but it looks like everything else is increasing, all right? So let's continue with, let me see, anything else to review in here? All right, so food. The index for food increased 0.4% in November after rising 0.2% in October, so food got more expensive in November. The food at home index rose 0.5 percentage points over the month. Four of the 6 major grocery stores foods index increased in November. The index for meats, poultry, fish, and eggs rose 1.7% over the month, as the index for beef increased 3.1%. I have noticed the price of beef going up, and the index for eggs rose 8.2%. The non-alcoholic beverage index increased 1.5 percentage points in November after rising 0.4 percentage points in October. The index for other foods at home rose 0.1% over the month, and the index for fruits and vegetables increased 0.2%. Cereal and bakery products fell 1.1%. Let me see. Not going to go into great detail of all of these, but food at home index rose, food away from home rose. Energy index 0.2%. This is going to tell us the same thing. Let me see. Gasoline index increased 0.6%. So gas got a little bit more expensive. Let's see. So, all right. So the consumer price index for all urban consumers increased 2.7% over the past 12 months. Index level at 315 and 0.493. Let's see. I think that's it. I think that's it for this one. I think that is it for this one. Let's go back to full screen. And let's see what we got going on over here. Let's see. So the wealth building journey said about the self-checkout versus the person-led checkout. The cashiers says both are accounted for in goods prices they offer for sale. Mitch says though, however, accounted for but still a loss. Well, because technically those are shrinkage. Let's not talk about shrinkage and employee labor input costs. I know it's in the budget, but one way or another, they are losing on something. I mean, to be fair to Mitch, right? If someone didn't steal the products, then that would just be more money, more money, more money, right? Let's see. And Mitch says, I hate shrinkage and reclamation when I used to work in retail. Everyone hates shrinkage, Mitch. Everyone hates shrinkage. For example, expired milk was what the cost was the cost, even though it was brought in bulk compared to how much it wasted / expiration. The World Journey says PPI, which we're going to be reviewing next, and CPI are inextricably, hopefully I said that right, inextricably. See, okay, just because I said ambulatory correct, now he's going to try to hit me with inextricably linked. The retailer has to buy goods from the wholesaler before he can mark it up and offer it for sale. That's why we're going to be reviewing that one next. And then says, let's see, says the world journey. I think I like you more than Ralph. Wow. I'm telling you.
Bruh.
Says the world building journey says that's probably spoilage, or see what he's trying to do here. See? All right. You know what the wealth building journey?
Do not come.
Nope. No, we're not doing that. All right. Spoilage or obsolescence. All right. Wealth building journey. If you're gonna be writing words that are more than 2 syllables, right? You're gonna have to super chat those words because this I can't. You're not gonna be embarrassing me for free. All right. You're not embarrassing me for free. So line item. Probably a small percentage of goods that won't ever get sold, and that'll probably be percentage markup to cover that expected loss. See, you could have said that without a 10-syllable word. You could have said that without a 10-syllable word. All right. I'm just saying. That was just an example. Your car says not my ribeyes. I tried to buy your car some ribeyes and he said, nope, not happening. I'm like, all right, I see how it is, your car. I see how it is. It says, who raised the price of my steaks? They are about to get a tariff on that. Let's see it. See, well, when anything is funny. He knows exactly what, because he's like, I'm going to be like Anchorman and I'm just going to read through it. And I get to the word, I'm like, and I'm like, oh my God. Why'd you have to do that to me? He could have just said obsolete. He could have just said obsolete, but he had to trip me up and like. Anyways, whatever wealth building journey. I see how it is. I thought we were friends, but the show must go on. All right, let's continue. Next up, we have the Bureau of Labor Statistics releasing the Producer Price Index for November. The gauge measures the change over time in prices charged by domestic producers for their output. So that's what the Wealth Building Journal was just talking about. Let's see what that is. I don't need Bloomberg anymore. All right, let's go to here. And we're going to search for producer. You better thank a producer price index. Click on that. All right, so the producer price index is similar to the consumer price index, but instead of tracking the prices of things people buy, it tracks the prices that businesses pay to make those things. Here's how it works, right? So imagine a factory is making sneakers. You got to get those J's. They need material like rubber, fabric, and labor. The PPI tracks the prices of these materials and services. Price check. So just like the CPI, the government checks the prices of these materials and services regularly. Compare prices. They compare today's prices with the prices from the past to see if the costs for businesses are going up or down. If the PPI goes up, it means the cost for businesses to produce goods and services are rising. If the price goes down, it means the costs are decreasing. So why does this matter? When the production cost goes up, the businesses might raise their prices to cover these costs, which can eventually lead to higher prices for consumers. So PPI can be an early indicator of inflation, showing how the prices of raw materials and production might affect the prices we pay in stores later on. All right. So let's continue with the car mechanic example, right? So auto parts and supplies. If the PPI for auto parts like brake pads, filters, or tires increases, the mechanic will pay more to stock the shop with essential parts. This can force the mechanic to raise prices for repairs like brake jobs or find cheaper suppliers though that may affect the quality. So we're not going to go through the whole thing because we kind of know what the auto part, the car mechanic has to go through, right? But tools and equipment, if the PPI for industrial tools rises, essential tools like wrenches, diagnostic computers, or lifts become more expensive, the mechanic may need to delay equipment upgrades and finance new tools, which adds operating costs. So, and let's just do this number 3, oils and fluids. If the PPI for motor oil or coolant goes up, suppliers charge the shop more for these materials. The mechanic might have to increase the price of oil changes to cover the added costs. So I'm not going to go through it because we already read the car mechanic example for the CPI, but you can see how the PPI directly impacts the CPI, as the Wealth Building Journey said in too many syllables, right? So he had a lot, he needs to use a lot of syllables to say that, but it is what it is. It is what it is, all right? So let's jump into this report. So let's go here. And producer price indexes. Let's see. PPI for final demand, 0.4% in November. Let's take a look at this report. The PPI for final demand rose 0.4% in November, seasonally adjusted to. So it got a little bit more expensive for the producers. Final demand prices increased 0.3% in October and 0.2% in September. On an unadjusted basis, the index for final demand advanced 3%. For the 12 months ending in November, the largest rise since moving up 4.7% for the 12 months ended February 2023. It says in November, nearly 60% of the broad-based rise in final demand prices can be attributed to a 7% increase in the index for final demand goods. Prices for final demand services moved up 0.2%. The index for final demand, less food, energy, and trade services inched up 0.1% in November after rising 0.3% in October. For the 12 months ending in November, prices for final demand, less food, energy, and trade services advanced to 3.5%. Let me see. Final demand goods, the index for final demand goods moved up 0.7% in November. The largest increase since rising 1.1% in February. I'm not going to go through all the little details. A quarter of November rises in prices for final demand is attributable, how you like that, to a 54.6% jump in the index for chicken eggs. Prices for fresh and dry vegetables. All right, we're not going to go into that level of detail. The index for final demand services rose 0.2% points in November. The fourth consecutive increase, leading the advance in November. Margins for final demand trade services moved up 0.8%. Yeah, and then we have the intermediate demand. Nothing was really changed that much. Let me see. All right, I think we're good. I think we're good on the producer price index. So let's take a quick look at the job numbers. Actually, no. Let me check the chat to see anything related to the producer price index, and then we can move on to the last thing. Let me see. So the Wealth Building Journey says inextricably, something done in a way that is impossible to separate the two things from one another. I know what the word meant, but saying it was a hassle. And I'm gonna sound this out. Obsolescence. Oh, I got it. Obsolescence. All right. The process of becoming obsolete or outdated and no longer used. All right. So, Wealth Building Journey, as you've always told me, you gotta put it on a level that I can understand. So, speak to me like I am a fourth grader. So you could have easily said the process of in the process of becoming obsolete or outdated, blah 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 blah. Instead of saying obsolescence, and I'm like, huh? Right? I was like this. I was like, all right. So, anyways, Mr. Wealth Building Journey, right? We're gonna continue. Let's take a quick look. Let's take a quick look at this Labor Department stuff. We already know what it is because we review it every single week. But if not, I am going to very soon. I'm going to make this dictionary available to the public, and then you can actually see what it is as well. Let's go to jobs, and we're going to go to weekly jobless claims. Pretty much how many people are applying for jobs. How many who have recently, actually no, how many who have been recently laid off and filed for unemployment. Gonna jump to it real quick, and then we're gonna get to the next part of the show. So 242,000 in the week ending of December 7th, increase of 17,000 of initial jobless claims. The previous week was revised up by 1,000, from 224 to 225,000. And the uninsured rate is still at insured unemployment rate is at still 1.2%. Gonna jump down to the bottom. More data was added in this. Way more data was added in this. All right, so let me see. So the highest insured unemployment rates in the week ending are always in New Jersey, Alaska, Washington, California, Puerto Rico, Rhode Island, Minnesota, Nevada, Massachusetts, and New York. And the largest increases in initial claims for the week ending in November 30th were Wisconsin, North Dakota, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Iowa, with the largest decreases in California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, and New York. All right. All right, cool. So that is all the data that we had to review for today. But I asked, so next up, all right, so let me check the chat, and then we'll get to it. Well, Journey says, got it. Says, interesting thing about PPI, when PPI goes down, it won't always translate into lower consumer prices because of profits. I mean, and that's why I always say the need for competition, because, all right, so let's say the PPI goes down for Target, Walmart, Amazon, right? But they want to keep the prices up. But Walmart says, you know what? I see that you two are selling this microphone that's been on sale for, through Black Friday, through forever, for $359, right? We're gonna lower the price to $329 because the cost that it's costing us from the manufacturer has gone down as well. So now, do I be loyal to Amazon or Target, or do I say, you know what, Walmart is offering a better price, let me go to Walmart? So I think that also drives competition as well. When there is only one, then because of profits, but I think that companies can use the pricing that they get to drive competition. All right, so let me see. All right, so next up, I had to ask Yakar a question the other day. All right, let me see if I can get a title for this. All right, let me see. Let me use this one. What if? All right, so let's try this one out. So I asked Yakar a question the other day, and he gave me a pretty interesting answer, right? So come on. Let's go to, I don't know what's going on. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. So what if because with all the insurance talk that's been happening, right? I said, what if all the insurance companies said, we're not going to do this anymore. We are not going to do this anymore. We're getting murdered in the street. We're being called murderers, right? So what if they all close down? And I'm gonna read the answer that he gave me because I was pretty intrigued by it. I was pretty intrigued by the answer, and I also have starred the other answer that he gave. I'll read that after I read his answer, right? He said, Gar says people would become more intentional about their health knowledge, their health, knowing that there is no quick fix. I'm curious to see what Mitch is going to say about this answer, right? Hospitals will become more profitable because they won't have as much paperwork. Your job would have to pay you more. On the other side, the other side, the other side is victim Olympics for those who don't choose to have a healthy lifestyle.
Bruh.
So should our health be our responsibility, or should it be somebody else's responsibility? That's a good question, because some people, I mean, and it's not like you can't get sick and stuff like that when you're healthy, but I mean, if we go outside, if we go to the beach, right? I'm down here in South Florida. If you go to the beach, it is not the most healthiest lifestyle that you're going to be seeing out there. All right, so take that into consideration. Okay, take that into consideration. But that was a very interesting perspective. Let's see. So, Yukar also said you need surgery and operation insurance. That would be a lot less and not as profitable because most people don't get surgery every year, so it wouldn't be used. Therefore, most people wouldn't buy surgery insurance. That's a good point. That's a good point. That is a good point. And then earlier today, Yukar said, let me move this up a little bit. I don't even know where. All right. So earlier, Yukar had said, yeah, insurance should be handled in a different way where your income determines the amount of doctors and surgeons, the amount doctors and surgeons could charge. So insurance, all right, so based on the amount of money that you make, the insurance that you get determines the amount that the doctors and surgeons could charge. I don't know how that, I don't. So would there still be insurance then? Like I'm trying to wrap my head around that idea that based on the would that even be insurance? And should like, so if you can cap what somebody's charging ability is, would that have people less inclined to go into that profession, or do they say, I don't know, like I don't know. I see many reasons that could work out poorly, you know, because there are certain doctors that they're only available to people who can afford their services, right? I don't know. Let's see what else. So instead of insurance companies, you could use insurers so it could offset. I wish I should have saw that earlier, but you know, we got it to work. We got it to work. And the other one says, no one can take care of the old you like the young you. Bars. That is a very good point. You know, but people do kind of waste their youth away, and then they get old, and then it's like, oh well, somebody has to take care of me. He says, health is your responsibility, as in what you eat. I think it's as in what you eat, as in your, like, how do you take care of yourself? You know, smoking, drinking, working out, you know, exercise, stuff like that, because they all work together. Nutrition, like they say, it's probably 80% of it, but there's a lot of other factors that that play a role. And says most people don't get into accidents with cars, but they keep raising it. That is true. That is true. But I'll tell you this though. Because my parents are actually going through this thing, right? Where they got into an accident where it was not their fault, but the insurance that the person who was at fault had, they only covered up to a certain amount of property damage. So now and it was like 3 cars involved. So now one car got certain amount of money, and my parents' car got a certain amount of money, but it didn't cover the whole thing. So even like even when somebody has insurance, it doesn't mean that it's gonna even like, especially like with car insurance, right? It doesn't mean that it's gonna cover your like all your damages. It might cover a part of it based on what the person has. So you have to figure that out. You might have to go and sue the person for the rest. Maybe you have to go through your own insurance. I don't know. It says I'm of the opinion that a single payer model still makes the most sense. Literally all other advanced economies have this model. The U.S. has taken human commodification too far with this, in my opinion. Single player meaning that like is a single payer like universal healthcare? Is that what you mean by that? And when you say single payer, does that mean everybody pays the same thing? Or are there different rates? And what if people don't like the options that they have and they can afford better options? Which leads me to, all right, so the husband journey, right, CJ, do you feel that you are responsible for other people's health choices? Because a lot of things can contribute to why people have certain sicknesses and diseases and stuff like that. Do you put yourself like as part of single payer? Everybody, we're all in it together. But what about when people don't do their part? Or should now the government start mandating? They start to mandate like health requirements. You know, should they say, well, we're gonna remember 1984 where they would be watching through like a reverse television what you're doing. Should they be mandating, all right, well, you need to eat this, you need to do this, you need to do that. And when it's a mandate, it's like a tax, right? They're mandating you to do it. So curious to know what your thoughts about that. Most people don't use car. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%, Mitch. It sucks. Like,
yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
But I agree. Like most people don't use it. And then so they get the minimum coverage, and then once they need it, then it's like, well, we're gonna raise your rates, and we're not gonna cover the whole thing. So, you know, car insurance, and the part that they mandate that you have is like the property damage, you know, the PIPD, right? Personal injury, property damage. So at least the other person can be covered, which I understand that. Full coverage is normally optional unless you are financing a car or leasing a car. But I do understand why they say that if you're going to drive, but then even people would drive without it. And now, if you get hit, then you're SOL. You know. Those what Ingrid says, and they drive like it. That is true, especially down here in South Florida. It says they want the old me, but I told them go back to my old chats. I'm telling you, Mitch, you'd come around my way. It says single payer equals the government is the only payer for healthcare. Okay. Oh, so you're saying that, okay, so you said, all right, so CJ, you said that in other countries, like, you know, they have that. How well does it work though? How well does it work? I remember like, might have been like 10 years ago, more or less. There was a child, I forgot how old he was, right? I think it was the UK. They would not allow him to leave the country to get treatment elsewhere, where they were willing to pay for the treatment in the United States. I believe it was in the United States. They were trying to get to Texas for some experimental treatment, and they would not let. I could be off on the details. I could be getting this wrong, right? But I remember that they would not let him leave the country to get this experimental treatment, saying it wasn't fair and there was no guarantee that it would work, all this type of stuff. So what comes along with that? What comes along with that? So I don't know. It says it's a concern of national interest. I don't know. as of now, I disagree. As of now, I disagree. It says, yeah, that's dumb too. Makes no sense. Car insurance companies, yeah, they were fine. They were fine. They were fine. It says no mandates for health requirements. So you're basically saying that see, and the Weather is going to get me in trouble again but he likes to do that. He likes to make me say these big words, and then we go back and forth on this part. So no mandates for health requirements. So people can do whatever they want. So now that everything is free, and people can do whatever they want, so now they can be as unhealthy as possible, and now run up the numbers even more. Okay. So it says, so Ralph, do you go through real life like majority of the world? I do go through real life. I do go through, like, everyone has their issues that they have to go through. But I just don't cry about them. That's all. That's the only difference between me and the real world. It says, I thought you were a robot. It says, insurance is a hedge fund product. It's literally a bet against something bad happening. I agree with that. I agree. And I'm not saying that I love how the insurance companies work and stuff like that, because I believe that the healthcare industry takes advantage of insurance, right? And that's how they're able to charge a lot more money. And then and then the healthcare companies, they charge more money to take care of the people who don't have insurance as well. But if anyone can just do whatever it is that they want, then I don't know. It seems we know, but it's dumb. Who pays in Canada? Who pays in Canada? I mean, I think the government pays in Canada, and you get your treatment. The question is, do people in Canada come to the United States for healthcare services? That's another question. Let's see. But to be honest, what I've been doing, I've been using it for air in tire or coming to put gas in. And here's an interesting thing, right? I think T-Mobile was offering roadside assistance at one point. I don't know if they still do, but I remember they were offering it. And even with AAA is a lot cheaper than getting that for insurance. But you need the insurance, because if somebody gets into an accident with you and they have no insurance and your car is totaled, you're screwed, So like the one you said, it's a hedge. You're hedging your bets, right? No, I mean, most people have it, but they don't use it because majority of people not. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. 100%. Says for the single payer model, they use a pay and chase structure. Plus, the federal government pay and chase can constitute a federal felony for healthcare fraud. So it also gives people. I mean, people are going to jail for PPP loans for tax evasion. So it just gives more power to the federal government over. I thought. Wait. I thought there was just a big thing about the federal government not having control over our bodies. That's what I heard. I don't know. Could be wrong. But we want to give them more control over, I'm not saying that insurance, like the way that insurance companies is the way. See, me, I would be in favor of upfront pricing instead of how much is it going to cost to do this? I don't know, because any place that doesn't accept insurance, they'll tell you right up front, oh, this is the cost of it, right? And you go from there. Oh, you need to get your teeth done? This is the cost of it. You need new teeth, like my guy, me, Massify? This is the cost of it. But if you go through insurance, it's like, well, it could be 1,000, it could be 100,000, but what do you care? You're not paying for it, and that's my one of my problems with this is that when it comes to cost, when you don't see the cost, then you don't care about it. When you're not paying for it, you don't care about it. And that's part of the problem where, when you just go and you get service and you don't know the associated costs. I want to know the cost, right? So that is my thoughts on that. Says there are still for-profit health insurers who offer expedited health-related services in Canada. Says Ralph, if you were ever down bad and I knew you would expect me to say, figure it out, not realistic. See, but if I was down bad, you wouldn't know about it because I'd figure it out. Like, you don't have to tell me to figure it out because I'm going to figure it out. So it doesn't mean much to me, you know? So, and that's why I don't care. That's why I don't care. Like, you know, everyone is responsible for their own life, right? I'm not responsible for your life, Mitch. I'm not responsible for the Wealth Building Journey's life. I'm not responsible for your car's life. The same way that your car is not responsible for anybody else's life. Unless you have a child, right? Or unless you want to be a child of the federal government. Instead of calling them Mr. President, maybe you can call them Mr. Papa and Mrs. Mama, you know? Let's see. It says, the UK overwhelmingly rejected allowing for-profit health insurers within their borders, conservatives and liberals alike. That's why we defeated the UK, right? That is why we defeated the British, all right? All right, so anyways, that is my thoughts on the whole insurance thing. I'll leave the anesthesia stuff for next week, but the way that we're gonna wrap up the show, we're gonna look at some comments that I got due to the Wealth Building Journey saying fees and taxes are the same thing, and I disagreed. Mitch said, some chiropractors don't even accept insurance. It's all out of pocket. Yep, depends on this, because some people don't think that chiropractors are quote unquote real doctors, but they have done wonders for my wife. I paid out, like, there was this treatment that my wife just got at the chiropractor, and she is feeling way better. And she was in a lot of pain, but now she's feeling almost great, almost great, you know. Let's see. The World Building Journey says fee versus taxes have to be in context to be fair. You can share more context, and we can. Says that was my problem. I was helping, and the people never saw the cost. So how is that any different than if we have, like, where, you know, we don't our deficit, our debt is 35 trillion. You know. All right. It says Ralph is no. I am not a villain. I am not a villain. I am the villain. All right. We are going to pull up these comments because I was so excited about these comments. I tell you, it was great. Let me see. Oh my God. All right, let's go to the video that the Wealth Building Journey got me in trouble on. Let me go to. Where will I find it? All right, let's go to over here, and we're gonna go to this story. Let's go. We are all right. Let's go to this one right here now, and then we'll find out. And I'm gonna. So let's do this. We're gonna do it like this, right? Let me see if this is gonna work. Let me go to our shared screen or video screen. Actually, no, we're gonna do it here. So, we're gonna go to like that, and I'm gonna go to this screen, and let's see. It's like this is just happening now. That's hilarious. All right, let me go to where I was talking about this. Let's go to. Okay, so it wasn't Wealth Building Journey. It was actually your car. So I've been blaming your Wealth Building Journey. It was actually your car. But let's watch this. Sorry, contribution to state revenue levied by the government on workers' income and business profits or added to the cost of some goods, services, and transactions. If a fee, so your card said that, so if you raise the fee on my property, no, they just raised your property taxes. That's it. HOA fee is a tax. Is the HOA fee being paid to the state, federal government? Or is the HOA fee being paid to your HOA, which you chose to buy a home in the HOA and agree to their terms and conditions? And some HOA fees, they'll pay for, like, they'll cover your roof maybe, and they'll cover the lawn care and all that type of stuff, the pool and stuff like that. is that's just a fee that you agree to pay. A tax is compulsory, meaning that you have to pay. You have no choice. You have no choice, right? So that's why I don't agree that a fee is a tax. A fee is a fee, and a tax is a tax, right? Fees are what government use when they want to sneak something in past a couple of conscious voting public. If the government charges it, it's a tax. Because it's not optional. If a company, if you choose to do business with another entity and they have a fee that you're agreeing to pay, then that's on you. That's how I see it. Let's see. The fees are two. So basically, that's what the smoke was about. Video did pretty well, I must say. So thank you everyone for for that. All right, so this was. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. All right, so this was Mitch's cousin right here, who hold on, why can't I make it bigger? Okay, so let's go with that. All right, so this one said, yeah, I absolutely 100% disagree with you, with me, that is. When you talk about, well, you have a choice to pay a fee or not, just don't give them your business. Easier said than done.
Bruh.
A lot of places have fees in certain spots because they know good and well that you have no choice but to make the payment. Like when I pay rent, I have a huge debit card fee. It's not like I can just all of a sudden like, nope, not paying rent. I don't like the fee. I like your personality. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. But please grow up and enter into reality. So, all right. So let's take this one this way, right? Let's take this way. So at the end of the day, I'm still right. Because you agreed to the terms and conditions of, for example, paying your rent. A lot of times, if you use ACH, which a lot of people don't want to use ACH, I don't want to put my bank account information in there. Well, when you chose where you're going to live, right? When you chose where you're going to live, where you're going to rent from, you agreed to, if you're going to use your debit card to pay, or your credit card or your debit card, whatever you're using to pay, it's going to be an extra 3%. And you said, okay, well, I really want to live here. I guess I don't have a choice. And it is what it is. It is what it is. Right? It's like you never not like, I mean, you even have a choice if you want to pay your taxes or not, right? The only difference with that choice is that you just not in jail. If you choose not to pay a fee, the only difference is you don't do business with that entity. That's all. Simple as that. Like there's nothing like I don't see the correlation. Live somewhere else, or use ACH, or bring a check to the office, whatever. Like no one is like, you're not being forced to pay the debit card fee. Your choice to use a debit card fee is what is making you pay the fee. All right. Let's see. So let me see. So the World Bank says any surcharge is a fee, but only governments can levy both fees and taxes. I still think whatever the government levies is part of a tax because you don't have a choice but to pay it. You're right. Fees, you don't have a choice to do business, to not do business with the federal government unless you're one of those like sovereign citizens or something like that, right? It says, did she like it? Did you hear her bones crack? I wasn't there, but she did like it. It helped a lot. It was like some compression therapy thing. Says, so the World Bank says, so think of delivery fees from Uber Eats or DoorDash versus sales tax from the government. It's each a line item on your meal bill. I know what a fee is. I pay fees every single day. When for like Patreon or YouTube or whatever, there's a bunch of fees associated. But guess what? Guess what? Those fees are optional because I choose to do business with YouTube, to do business with Patreon, to do business with whoever the hell I do business with. So that's why I'm saying it's optional. I could build out my whole ecosystem, my whole own infrastructure, and take 10 years to do it, and then never get anything off the ground. Or I could I could pay the fees from the people who did all the legwork and get started right away. So that is my difference between why the fees are optional. Because guess what? You don't have to use Uber Eats or DoorDash. You could jump in your car or on your Huffy and ride over to the Jamaican food spot and buy some jerk chicken or some oxtail, and then jump on your Huffy and get back home and continue whatever you're doing. But because you want the service from Uber or DoorDash or whoever, you have a fee associated with it that you are agreeing to pay. You don't have to pay it if you don't use their service. That is what I'm saying about it. Let's see. Vis-a-vis the airline industry, fees are everywhere. They are everywhere. And guess what? You chose to take that flight or to fly somebody out, whatever you choose. And the one says, to be fair, some fees are optional. Other fees are part of a good or service provider's cost recovery model. I agree with you, but it's still optional because you are choosing to do business. Because guess what? The delivery fees from Uber, they are not optional. They're not optional to the person who orders on Uber Eats or on Uber or on DoorDash or on Instacart. It only becomes required when you choose to do business with that entity. Mitch says, because we don't play around here. Governments can offer optional services for a fee. Fair enough. I agree with that. But if it's an optional service, so whatever, it's an optional service. Yeah, I agree with you on that. But if it's mandated, then but yes, governments levy taxes are mandatory. Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. So let's jump to another comment real quick. So this one, I didn't really understand it, but I'm going to read it. It says, you must be slow when someone control what, when, and how you pay a fee. You have no choice but to pay the fee. I guess they're calling me slow. Actually, let me like this one and let me heart it as well. It says, I guess I'm the slow one, but there is no punctuation, run-on sentence. I have no idea what this person is saying. So we're going to move along, right? So this person said, disagree. I pay $50 to $100 for each of my customers every single month, just for the ability to take their money. It's crazy, and there's no other options. So what other options is there than the big four? None. Trying to move to ACH, but not all customers want to pay with their bank details, all right? So guess what? I agree with you. Right? I agree. But guess what? You got to pay to play. Simple as that. You think that okay, all right, let me help you guys real quick. Right? Why do you think that anybody, when I say anybody, I mean anybody, should care one iota about your business, your company, your success, any of that? Why should they care? The same way that you're in it to make money is the same way that they are in it to make money. So if you're going to be using their services, you know what? You got to pay to play. So if you want to use our processing, you got to pay the money for it. Simple as that. You disagree. I don't just because you disagree because you have to pay, right? You have to pay because you use their service. Oh, you want to move to ACH so you can make more money, right? But then you probably just pass on the fee to the customer anyways, as a good business person would do. But you're trying to move to ACH because it's going to cost you less. But you have to give your customers what they want, and what your customers want costs you more money because they want to be able to pay through their credit card and their debit card and all that type of stuff. But the fees you choose to pay are a business decision. The fees you choose to pay are a business decision or a convenience decision. You've seen, if you pay with a credit card, like I'll give you an example. Okay, you know what? Wealth Building Journey. I'm going to modify what I said between the government not charging fees. They do kind of have to charge a fee, right? So when I'm helping my in-laws pay their property taxes, and I go to the Miami-Dade County website to pay the property tax, they say if you pay with ACH, there is no fee attached to it, right? It's just a direct bank transfer. If you pay with a credit card, we're going to charge you 3%. So you're right about that. But guess what? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pay with ACH. I'm not gonna pay the credit card and pay extra $100-something to make this payment. Like, but that's a decision that I made. That's a choice. That's an optional service, as CJ said earlier today, right? That's how I see it. Like, I mean, just because you have to pay something, like you have to pay something that it is your cost of doing business the way that's going to be the most profitable for you. See, you just want all the money, but not have to pay anything out of pocket. But guess what? Nobody has to care about your business. You are the only person who has to care about your business. So that's my viewpoint for it, and that's why I find these comments hilarious, because you are proving my point. You're proving my point. So I gotta grow up, and I have to enter into reality. But when I send somebody an invoice, right? When I send somebody an invoice, I could say, you know what? You can only mail me a check. You can only mail me a check, right? Now that check can get lost in the mail. I have to wait to get it to go and deposit and stuff like that. Or I can use there's a service that I use for invoicing, Ninja invoicing, something like that, right? And it connects with Stripe. And Stripe charges a fee. And guess what? I said, you know what, Stripe? I will gladly pay that fee so that you can give me my money right now and deposit it into my account, and we are good to go. So guess what? I choose to pay the Stripe fee. I choose to pay the Patreon fee. I choose to pay the YouTube fee. And whatever other fees I am choosing to pay, because I could build my whole infrastructure ecosystem, and I have to manage all of that stuff on my own. But I know the game. And I'm not crying and whining about I have to pay for each. I have to pay like a certain amount of money for each coaching person that I get, each person in the Patreon, each tech barbarian. I have to pay, and you know what? Like, I'm like, cool, because it alleviates a whole headache in infrastructure. So you don't want to pay for it because you want it for free, because you think that we're supposed to care about your personal business. Or that we're supposed to care because, oh, you want some chicken wings, but you don't want to go out and get it because you're going to miss the game. Well, guess what? The person who has to deliver it to you, they're missing the game too. So you have to pay them for that as well. All right. That is my thoughts on it. We'll see how that goes. I might get in a little bit more trouble. We shall see. But I'm here for it. And you know, maybe next weekend I'll drop the link, and if anyone wants to have a conversation about it, whether about the single payer, about the fees versus taxes, and why I believe that no one is required, offer good service and everything works out from there. No, but no one has to care about, like, no one has to have any personal feeling or attachment to your business. All right. Let me check the chat, and then we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna wrap it up. Let's see what's going on. All right. Let's see. All right, so the Wealth Building says the big four: Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and Amex. It says, where the party today? So the party today is at my friend's house. Actually, we're actually having, like, not a party, but a get together. I haven't seen my friends since like July or something like that. We're gonna go over there. We're gonna have some good food, and you know, get that. I'm gonna wear my party animal hat for today. You gotta have some good food, some good times, all of that good stuff. Let's see, some home cooked Cuban food. That's the plan for today. And says, it says, you must be weird. Better get that money order. Pay with a money order. Pay with a money order, right? I'm just saying. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Like Mitch, not only do they want to not accept checks and stuff like that, but you get the money a lot faster as well. Because they'll just deposit it into your account. And you don't have to go and I have to go to the bank and deposit a check and all this type of stuff. The one here says, to play devil's advocate, there's also such thing as captive audiences. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by captive audiences? How do you make money if no one cares? You make money by offering a good product. Simple as that. Simple as that. You make money by you make money by offering good products. That's how, and good services. That's how I see it. That's how I see you make money. No one had the person who cuts my grass, for instance, right? I don't necessarily care personally for that person or their business. I care that they do good service cutting my grass. Is it? Right? Like the person who if I go to a restaurant and I order a meal, I don't necessarily care for the restaurant's business, for the server, for the waitress, for whoever, right? The hostess. I care that I'm having a good experience at the restaurant and I'm getting a good meal. And that's what's going to keep me going back. Not because so that's how I see it, right? Do people pay your invoices? They sure do. They sure do. It says, do certified mail. So you know it's, but what if it gets lost in certified mail? It says, so Ralph, you run everything by yourself, no help. I'm asking because people think they need 1,000 people before they start. I run, all right, so I'm gonna say yes, I run everything by myself, but I use a lot of tools, a lot of AI, a lot of different services to help me manage that, and I have earlier this year, my wife started to edit videos where when you see the clips of the Q&A show, that's her editing those videos and putting that together. So she's helping on that end, but 99% of the stuff that you see here, I'm figuring it out. I'm running it. And you have to start with one first. You have to start with one first. So Wealth Building Journey is about to give us a definition for captive audience. What Ralph is leaving the porch. There are some places that I go, Viz. There are some places that I go. I'll be working today. Cuban food. My old thing was cute. My old thing was Cuban. I'm sick. You are sick, bitch. You are sick.
Let's get it.
All right. Let's see if Wealth Building Journey gets us this definition before we head out. But I gotta say it.
I was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
I'm just being honest. Maybe I don't live in reality, but guess what? In my reality, though, my people win. So maybe you want me to live in your reality, but maybe the grass is greener in my reality, and that's why I choose to live in my reality. Who knows? The Wealth Building Journey says, captive audience, a group of people who are unable to choose alternatives for a single or a small group of goods or service providers, the precursor to either a monopoly or an oligopoly. Well, can you give an example? Can you give an example of the captive audience? I mean, I see what you're saying, but so here's a question, Wealth Building Journey. Why is it a captive audience? Why is there not an alternative? Is it because the government is unofficially restricting competition? Is it the mafia who is taking them out of business. So what causes it to be a captive audience? Says the point is you just learned most of that this year and last year. I had never gone live before until June of last year, and we'll do it. We'll do. I don't know when, but we'll review a video from last year compared to a video of this year, right, and see how that goes. But I figured it out. But for me, I figured things out. Jiu-jitsu, working in the video industry, live streaming, creating content, video editing. I didn't know 90% of this stuff last year, and we're here. So miss me with the grow up and enter into reality. I create my own reality, right? So that's why I find it funny. I find it funny, right? Says the captive audience are people with rare autoimmune disease. I got nothing. I have nothing to say. I really don't know what to say about that. But I guess there are some captive audiences. But let's be real though. The wealth building journey. Are we going to find a minute example for the wider range of people complaining about fees and taxes and stuff like that? Like, at the end of the day, you might have some captive audiences, but for the grand scheme of things, it's a lot of the decisions that we make, right? Okay, I can be on here with you guys forever talking about this type of stuff, but I gotta go. I gotta go party. I got to go party with my friends. They are waiting for me. It says, chat, you better thank a Mitch. You better thank a Mitch. Mitch is my guy. As much as you see us go back and forth and argue, I would do a show with Mitch in a heartbeat. And we would have so much fun, always going back and forth. That's how me and Mitch started this journey, right? It says, meaning only people with such disease can go to select companies for the treatment. When you say select companies, that means like there's more than one company. But we're not gonna get into that. We'll table that for next time. The wealth building journey. I really appreciate you being here, because you not only do you bring the words that I cannot say, you bring some amazing insight as well. So salute to you. Really appreciate it. I saw the old videos. I could barely hear you. I had to upgrade my mic. I had to upgrade my video. And we're still making upgrades. We are still making upgrades. Learning a lot every single day. And I appreciate you guys for being on the journey with me. But with that being said, we're going to get out of here. We are going to get out of here. The question for you, though, after this whole 2 hours and 15 minutes, the question is,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I am very well entertained, and I learned a lot. Great conversations, great times, really appreciate it. But you guys know, especially on Saturday mornings, that yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is certainly not tomorrow's price, because
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
the price of the brick is always going up. Shout out to your car out there in Detroit. Have a good weekend, your car. Enjoy your time with the people. Mitch, have a good Saturday. I know you're working, but it's gonna be, make the most of it. Wealth building journey, thank you so much. Adrian, hit me up on Patreon. Monica, thanks for tuning in. Everyone else who was here, Melvin Johnson, really appreciate you all. But I'm out of here. I am out of here. Mitch says, Rob gonna be home by 5. I might be. All right. Anyways, we're out. We argue, but not this. Always with all due respect. All right. And let me get Monica in real quick. Monica says, enjoy your day. Enjoy your day as well, Monica. All right, you guys. I am out of here. This is Tech Coach Ralph. We are out.
It's Tech Coach Ralph TV. Yeah. Men lying, women lying, numbers manipulate. Don't matter what no one say, I throw the stats away. No need for calculators, we already greater. No need to validate us. It's Tech Coach Ralph TV. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop yawning. Get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Tech Coach Ralph and Mitch and Yakar, that's how it be. Shooting galaxies from their hands, it's Tech Coach Ralph TV. You don't need to grab your remote because you'll be floating free. Don't gotta worry about negative forces, it's positivity. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop yawning. Get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop the yawning. But I get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Men lie, women lie. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Men lie, women lie. Numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate. Tech Coach Ralph and Mitch and Yakar, that's how it be. Shooting galaxies from their hands, it's Tech Coach Ralph TV. You don't need to grab your remote because you'll be floating free. Don't gotta worry about negative forces, it's positivity. Tech Coach Ralph and Mitch and Yakar, that's how it be. Shooting galaxies from their hands, it's Tech Coach Ralph TV. You don't need to grab your remote because you'll be floating free. Don't gotta worry about negative forces, it's positivity. Get up, it is Saturday morning. I've got to get my coffee cause I can't stop yawning. Get to watch my favorite show today. Men lie, women lie, numbers manipulate. Yeah, number manipulate. Yeah, numbers manipulate. Yeah, numbers manipulate. Numbers manipulate.
See the money in circles tight. Always got a story they rehearse tonight. Asking for dimes, they got no shame. Blaming the world for all their pain. Oh, they say, let me hold something. Always needing, always fronting. You're the wrong one, can't you see? Crazy, seeing the world differently. They spin tails and point fingers keen. Victim medals glistening in the sheen. Borrow time and shallow dreams. Forever caught in their scheme. Oh, they say let me hold something. Always needing, always fronting. You're the wrong one, can't you see? Crazy, seeing the world differently. They spin tails and point fingers keen. Victim medals glistening in the sheen. Borrow time and shallow dreams. Forever caught in their scheme. Oh, they say let me hold something. Always needing, always fronting. You're the wrong one, can't you see? Crazy, seeing the world differently. Watch them call you cold hard tight. When you say no, they see fight. Indignation, such a plight. In the victim Olympics night. Running in the endless race. Mass smiles but no grace. Holding hands and casting blame. Life's just a whole game. They spin tails and point fingers keen. Victim medals glistening in the sheen. Borrowed time and shallow dreams, forever caught in their scheme. Oh, they say let me hold something, always needing, always fronting. You're the wrong one, can't you see? Crazy seeing the world differently. Watch them call you cold hard tight. When you say no, they see for fight. In the nation, such a plight. In the victim Olympics night. Running in that endless race.